would your hardest fight be your craziest fight, or would they be two different fights?
Well, no, I would say they were probably the same one, man.
Yeah.
I had my hardest fight. I won that fight, but I mean, I remember afterwards, I almost fell down the stairs walking off the stage. I was
Wow.
completely spent, completely exhausted, and just covered in blood. And that was probably, it was against Josiah Callis. This was way, way back in like 2010 or 11 or something. It was at the Paramount, the Paramount Theater in Denver, where all like they do the stand-up comedy specials and
I think
stuff.
I fought there. They still do fights
Yeah,
there, right? Yeah, I think I
not
fought
very often. It's a very small venue. It's that small, skinny
I
stage.
think they did that the private event. They do
Yeah,
private event.
yeah,
there.
they did. Yeah, that one. So I fought there. It was like one of the first fight events they ever did there, and it's such a weird venue because the cage is almost right next to the wall. Like you're enclosed on that tiny cage, and it's the crowd's only on one side, and it's a skinny building. They do comedy specials there a lot, but it's like a bad venue for fighting anyway. I fought this guy, Josiah Callis. He was at a Team Wildman, Thomas Denny's team. They were like notoriously tough, like not the most technical guys, but they were good at wrestling. They had crazy cardio, and they were just bang, man. I remember when those guys first came into town, Marcus Edwards,
Yeah.
Josh Cavan.
Oh yeah.
That's where those guys came from. They initially came into Colorado from, I think, California with Denny. He had this whole team, and they just kind of tried to take over the scene. And they had some really good guys, like Marcus is still fighting to this day.
I think he's doing bare knuckle.
Yeah, he's
Marcus
really
is a beast,
successful at it. Oh, yeah, I've known Marcus for a while. I've sparred so many rounds with that freaking asshole.
He used to.
He's
used to
beat
kick
the
my ass.
shit out of me, man. And I was always too tough for my own good, so I'd stand in there and freaking bang with him. But he's got so much size, and we're cool, But like, he would just go so damn hard in the gym, and like he'd always pick me. It's just like, bro, I don't want to spar you, but I'm too fucking tough to say no, so fuck you.
You ever seen Rush Hour with Chris Tucker's in the somebody kicks him, he's like, which one of y'all kicked me? You remember that?
Yeah.
One time I was sparring Marcus, and he's for a big guy, he is way athletic.
Oh, he's one of the most athletic dudes I ever met.
And he threw like a crazy hook kick. Like I didn't
kicking people in practice.
And when he got me, he hit me, and I was like, "The fuck? Who the fuck just hit me?" I didn't even. It was like one of those things. Like he blocked it so much, and I looked down. I was like, "Bro, did you just kick me?" He started cracking up. I was like, I could not see it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really appreciate hook kicks in practice. That's kind of a fucking fight technique that you don't really throw on your training partners. But some guys go hard. That's just how they are.
Yeah. So. What happened? So when you're fighting the guy, was it just a 3-round?
Oh yeah,
war?
Lost track. I think I finished him in the second, but it was just an insane pace. He was one of the toughest guys I ever watched before I fought him. I remember seeing him fight JJ Mondragon, who was one of my favorite fighters back in the day. And they had one of the craziest fights I've ever seen. It was an amateur fight, and they like got fight of the year for that in Colorado. This was way back, and I remember watching it, and I'm like, this dude's tough as nails. This guy is too tough for his own damn good. I'm gonna beat the fucking ass off this guy, because I felt I was a lot better skill wise. He liked to bang. He was a striker, but he was very stiff. He was tall and lanky, but he fought with his elbows out and just kind of gave a lot of openings. He was all offense, but he was tough as hell. He always bled in his fights, and I remember watching his fight against JJ, and I was just like, damn, man. And he beat JJ in that fight by split decision. It was one of the best damn fights I've ever seen to this day. And I was just like, yeah, this fight's going to be crazy, man, because I was in that fucking stage where I was talking about earlier about just being ultra-violent, freaking chip on my shoulder young fighter where I was looking for blood. And he pissed me off like really bad before the fight, which is rare for me. I'm usually very calm, docile. And he took forever to walk out. Like his walkout song came on, which was Miley Cyrus, like that mountain song. There's Move Mountains or whatever the hell it is. It was just like the weirdest song ever for anyone to walk out to. And he wouldn't walk out. He just let it play. He like took like 5 minutes to walk out, so the entire song is just playing. And everyone's just standing around, you know, listening to Miley Cyrus. And the commissioners are at this point like, we're going to go get him, you know? Like, I don't know where he is. We're going to go get him. And we're all just standing around like, I'm stewing. I'm like, this dude's pissing me off. You know, it's a psych move. So he finally comes out after the song's over. You know, I don't know if he did that on purpose or something happened. I think he was playing mind games. So then he comes into the cage, and he's just kind of got this really, like, just evil look on his face. You know, he's looking at me all stupid, you know, and, like, then he Tebows when he gets in the cage. This was when Tebowing was a thing. You remember Tebowing? Tim Tebow?
What did he do?
He would, like, go down and pray. He'd take a knee and, like...
So he does that?
Yeah, so he gets in the cage and he T-bows, and then he's just kind of like staring me down and smirking at me, you know, like this evil smile, and I was just like getting more and more pissed off, and I was fairly confident going into that one just because I felt like he was a striker like me, but I really had a lot of confidence in my striking. I always have. So I just went out and freaking... The first shot I hit him with cut open his eye. The second shot I hit him with, like, broke his nose, so he was gushing blood from the start. And he just was a bleeder. Every fight you'd watch, he'd just freaking get cut and bleed from his nose. So he was just gushing blood all over the place. And I was just ruthless as hell, and I was just beating the ever-loving shit out of him. I spun him around a couple times. Like, he never actually went down. I never dropped him, but I freaking... hit him so hard that he freaking spun all the way around and, like, ran into the cage. And, like, I was just crushing him, just hitting him with everything I could. My best shots, which usually put people out. I was, like, pretty prolific puncher, you know. That was my main strength. I was putting a lot of people out, and I was dropping a lot of people as a pro, you know, with my hands. And I was hitting this guy with everything I could. And I literally got tired from beating the shit out of him, you know. And then eventually he started shooting in on me and turning it into a wrestling match, and I was exhausted from all the punching I was doing. So then we ended up doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, and I ended up hitting him with some just brutal ground and pound, and it just was exhausting, man. I remember there's this one moment in the fight that I have such a vivid memory of that I'll never forget is I was sitting on his back, you know, and this was like shortly before the finish where I was just battering him, you know, and I have both my hooks in and I'm propped up, and I'm just propped up on his ribs, and I'm just hammer fisting the shit out of him as hard as I can, just like whap, whap, whap. And like it's so bloody that it's making this freaking clapping sound when I hit him. And like I could see the blood just flying off the side of his head, like I was doing it up against the cage. And like I splattered my freaking corner with blood. I splattered the commentators with blood. They showed me their notes afterwards, and it was just like horror film.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I just pounded him out for so long that eventually he just gave me up his neck, and I choked him out, you know, and like he didn't even give up. I mean, he gave up the choke. He raised up his chin, but then he fought the choke forever. So I'm just like got him in a body lock, and I got it off at a weird angle, and I'm torquing. So I have my whole back and hips and everything into this choke, and it's just draining me. My energy bar is just like done at that point, you know, because, yeah, this guy was just way too damn tough. And, yeah, I tapped him out the rear naked. And I couldn't even stand after that fight. I was just like sat against the cage, just trying to catch my breath. I was wheezing. I couldn't breathe. And like my coach made me get up. He's like, get up right now. Like you won.
Yeah.
You know? And I freaking could barely stand. And then we went down those skinny stairs at the back of the hallway at the end of the fight, and I almost fell down, and I looked like Freddy Krueger, man. I was covered in blood. And just exhausted. I couldn't even talk, and everyone was asking me, like, what the hell? Like, did you win? Like, what's going on?
What's going on?
You know, just like,
it's not my blood.
Don't fucking talk to me. And, yeah, man, I, like, took a shower at the venue.
Oh, wow.
You know, just like a little shower that wasn't very, it was like a tiny little shower in a tiny little room. And I didn't even have any soap. And then we ended up going out that night. And yeah, man, the next day I wake up and I'm still got this dude's blood like all over me, man. Like
Wow.
it was in my eyes. Like when I cleared out my eyes in the morning, you know,
Blood
like there's
here?
just like all kinds of blood just
God.
in my eyes. And then I swabbed out my ears. It was in my ears.
Oh, Lord.
It was in my ass crack. Like this dude freaking like was on my back at one point, just dropping blood down my freaking shorts. Like it was everywhere, man. And like I was like exhausted for like 3 days after that, just because the pace I pushed. You know, I was determined to freaking finish the guy. And my whole mentality with cardio is, and I had this mentality my whole career, is if I'm tired, then they're more tired, and I'm about to finish them, you know? So, like, if I actually get to a point where I'm exhausted, I just got to keep pushing till the end, and that's what I did. And, like, I literally hit, like, the next level of fatigue. I couldn't stand. I could barely breathe for a couple of days. I was just done for. You know, completely freaking exhausted. But that's how fighting is.
Is there footage? Is there footage?
Yeah, there's footage. I
gonna
got
get it.
It's on like a bunch of my highlight videos that I put up, and I think there's it might still be online. There's like a video of it, but there's no audio. But it's a crazy damn fight. It's not the greatest video quality, but yeah, you can watch it. It's crazy, man. It's not the most technical fight in the world, but I mean, I could not miss. I don't think I missed a single punch the whole night. It's just like 100% accuracy with like nothing but bombs.
Did you ever feel like, just fucking quit already? Like, you ain't tired? Or
I knew going into that fight that he was just so damn tough. Like, just watching him, you know, I always watch tape and study my opponents, and I mean, I give him the credit. Like, he's the toughest guy I ever fought. You know, and I mean, I feel like I'm the toughest guy anyone's ever fucking fought. So, like, that's just how I am. I mean, you see me fight. Like, I'm just that freaking guy that I've gotten where I was mostly based on toughness and grit, you know, and determination. It's not like I'm a freak athlete, you know, and it's not like I'm a freaking phenomenal striker. I'm a good striker. I've got a lot of balls in the pocket. I'm great at timing. Chris Gutierrez gave me kind of like a backhanded compliment back in the day. He's just like, because we used to spar a lot, you know, I sparred all those guys. And he said, you're not fast at all, you know, but like you always hit people. You just land,